Hello everyone, Nubkeks here. We're coming up to Blizzcon 2017. It starts this Friday and I am going to be there and live vlogging, I hope, all of the news and announcements about Heroes of the Storm and maybe some of the other Blizzard games as well. Just keeping you guys up to date on all the updates. However, today it is time for not the live stuff, but my predictions of the upcoming stuff. And in particular, I want to tell you the 5 heroes that I want to see at BlizzCon 2017. First of all, I don't think there's going to be 5. I think Blizzard will probably announce 2 heroes. And I think one of those heroes, I mean, Junkrat just came out a few weeks ago, so we're due a new hero. I think we're going to see one of these heroes live and available pretty much immediately after BlizzCon. And then I think they'll have one more that will be coming out the following month. I think that's what they're going to do. They did 2 heroes last year. I think it makes sense, builds up hype, but doesn't exhaust the hype for the next few months. So without any further ado, here are the 5 heroes that I would like to see Blizzard potentially announce at BlizzCon this year.
Illidan will show us the path to power.
The first hero on my list is Lady Vash from the Warcraft universe. So it looks really likely that we could be having an ocean, a water-based expansion coming up and announced for World of Warcraft at this year's BlizzCon. There's been teasers about, Jaina is front and center on the BlizzCon artwork. There's been Kulturas armor sets leaked for World of Warcraft, which is her homeland. It is an island nation. Ajara has been one of the key villains that keeps cropping up, but we haven't fully faced yet. So there's a really good chance that we could be seeing something to do with water, and therefore with Naga in the upcoming expansion. And who better to tie in Heroes of the Storm with this new Warcraft expansion release than Lady Vash, one of the main characters one of the only remaining main characters from Warcraft 3 who's not made it across to being a playable hero in Heroes of the Storm. An absolute fan favorite hero of a fan favorite race, the Naga themselves. Also, interestingly, I think, just about one of the only main villains from the Burning Crusade expansion who hasn't been brought back in World of Warcraft. So could she even perhaps be brought back, kind of like Illidan was for Legion in this WoW expansion? Perhaps. But I think it makes a lot of sense for Heroes of the Storm then. Tie it in. Everyone's hyped about this new water-based Warcraft expansion. Go play Lady Vash now in Heroes of the Storm and kind of get a little bit of a sneak preview of that. Just kind of enjoy your hype by playing some heroes. What a great tie-in. It makes so much sense. In terms of a hero, she's like a Naga Sea Witch, which means she fights with kind of the power of the ocean, storms, and the tempest, as it were. Also, there's a tie-in novel to promote the upcoming WoW expansion called Before the Storm. Thinking. Things like summoning tornadoes, attacking with summoning lightning to attack, perhaps summoning a tidal wave. There's lots of different potential ways they could go with Lady Vash, of course, as well. In Warcraft 3, she did fight with a bow and frost arrows, so we could definitely see something along those lines. She'd be an assassin, a damage dealer, and I think she'd be just a really cool addition. Also the first Naga added to Heroes of the Storm. I think this is the perfect time to do it. So yeah, if there is going to be a water-based expansion for WoW, I think they really should put Lady Vash into Heroes of the Storm, like, right now. Do it, Blizzard, right now.
Remember, life is the light, and the light is life itself.
The second hero on my list is the Prophet Valen. And with this one, much like that first hero I'm talking about, I want to see more tie-ins. I want to see more crossovers between Blizzard games and Heroes of the Storm. Whereas Lady Vash is tying into the potential upcoming expansion, the Prophet Valen himself ties in very much to the end of the current World of Warcraft expansion. So obviously the current expansion is Legion, where we are finally putting an end to the Burning Legion in Warcraft. And Valen is very much tied into that story. He rules the planet Argus with 2 other of the Eredar, Kil'jaeden and Archimonde. Then the Dark Lord Sargeras came, offered them unlimited power. Probably not exactly what I offered them, something along those lines. And Kil'jaeden and Archimonde accepted the offer, whereas Valen rejected it. Kil'jaeden and Archimonde became like the generals of the Burning Legion, this demonic horde that just rampaged across the universe, destroying worlds. And Valen led the remaining Eredar. They became the Draenei, the exiled ones, and they fled across the universe, eventually ending up on Azeroth. Yeah, now through a whole bunch of... I'm skipping over a lot of the story, but now finally we've gone back to Argus, to the homeworld now of the Burning Legion, and Valen himself is leading the charge to take back Argus and to end the Burning Legion forever. It's a really cool story arc. I think Valen is somewhat of an underappreciated character. And that would, I think, you know, this is the time, right? This is the peak. This is the finale of really this culminating story of the Burning Legion and what Valen has done with it. So he ties in so well. This is the perfect time for him to come in and be a hero in Heroes of the Storm. He'd be the first Draenei added to Heroes of the Storm. He would also definitely be a support hero, and I think that would make him the first support hero to ever be announced and revealed at Blizzcon, which I think would be really, really cool as well. I don't know exactly what his type of abilities could be, but yeah, I think, you know, kind of a slower healer, and just like the character is really what brings it out for me. That's what I want to see. I want to see the Prophet Valen. I think this is, again, the perfect time for him to come out. And hey, another healer, another support, fantastic. Let's see it. Let's get some support love at BlizzCon.
Where there's smoke, there's me.
Jumping universes for hero number 3, let's go over to StarCraft, and I want to see the Firebot. So, whereas with the previous 2 heroes I talked about tie-ins to current stuff happening at World of Warcraft, this one for me ties into, I think, some updates that we kind of need to Heroes of the Storm itself, which is that I did a discussion video on Quick Match recently, right? And I talked about it a bit here, but the role system in the game is very much outdated, and the big crutch thing for me is that it doesn't even match up to how Blizzard sees it when they go to make quick matchmaking. So for example, we've got quote-unquote sustain heroes, which are some supports like Tyrande and Tassadar, even warriors like Zarya, heroes like Abathur, that provide the quote-unquote sustain rule, and that is accounted for in quick matchmaking, but it's not represented by the hero roles. Importantly as well, there is a differentiation in terms of the warriors between tanks and bruisers, and the bruiser role is quite underpopulated. We've got heroes like Varian and Sonya in there. So I think it would make an awful lot of sense for Blizzard to finally rework the role system so that it actually corresponds to the roles that they use for quick matchmaking. And it just makes so much more sense. It's so much more clear, and I think there's room for more bruisers in that category. The Firebat would fit in amazingly there. So he's a StarCraft Terran unit. They're like convicted pyromaniacs that have been put in these giant suits of armor, flamethrowers strapped to their arms, and just gone like, all right, go burn the Zerg, do it, go kill them all. I'm not an expert in StarCraft lore. Pretty sure that's the gist of it, though. That's probably as much as the Firebats care about, let's be honest. So yeah, I think that is really cool potential for, you know, that bruisery type hero, that solo lane tanky dude that does a lot of damage, and obviously as this sort of flamethrower based guy, he'd have a lot of area of effect damage, lots of wave clear pushing potential, but perhaps be kind of immobile and somewhat vulnerable in those regards. I think Rumble from League of Legends also provides an interesting type of hero and gameplay that we don't have in Heroes of the Storm yet, that Blizzard could adapt in their own way. So again, Rumble in League of Legends, he's the sort of flamethrower based hero as well. And the cool thing I want to highlight here that Blizzard could adapt is his heat mechanic. So when you use his abilities, they generate heat, and you can have between 0 and 100 heat. When you're above 50 heat, your abilities do bonus things, like for example, it might be more damage, a bigger flamethrower, that sort of thing. Your abilities are more powerful. However, if you build up too much heat, by using those empowered abilities, you'll hit 100 heat. And when you hit 100 heat, you get silenced. You can't use any abilities until you cool down and you lose all of that heat. However, it does also empower you and makes your basic attacks hit harder. So we could have something like that for the Firebat, you know? You can use your spells get more powerful, and then gives you that cool decision-making process of, do I want to kind of hover around that 50 heat mark so I can just use my empowered spells? Or do I want to spam them all now for that burst of damage? Maybe I want those empowered like basic attacks, just do more damage at my basic attacks for that short window, but give up this lower my sustain damage because I have to cool down and lose all my heat, and then I start from 0 again. I've got to cast a whole bunch of non-empowered abilities to get back up to that 50 heat mark. It's a cool little gameplay idea, and I'd like to see something like that in Heroes of the Storm. The fourth hero is for Diablo, and poor old Diablo is apparently not going to be getting too much love at this year's BlizzCon. So I think it would be quite nice for Blizzard to throw them a bit of a bone and say, well, here you go, we've got a cool Diablo hero coming to Heroes of the Storm. And what I would really like to see is for one of the primevals, one of the big bad guys, one of the big demons to come over to Heroes. Now, I've never really played any of the Diablo games, so I don't know too much about them. But Bale, I think is how it's pronounced, because I watched the cutscene about him, and it's a very weird cutscene, I'll have you know. But Bale, he is one of the primevals, he's the Lord of Destruction, and he's kind of cool. He's like this kind of weird, deformed, skeletal type body on top of like a four-legged spider base kind of thing. He looks awesome, he looks super cool. And he's obviously a very powerful magic user. So I think that would tie in very nicely to Heroes of the Storm. Give us another mage, this really creepy, evil looking mage. Blizzard obviously at the moment recently been trying to really bring mages back into the meta. You know, the Chromie rework, we had Kel'Thuzad added, we had Jaina slightly reworked as well. So I think they really do want to bring mages back into it. I think Bale would fit in really well, be really awesome as well. More bad guys, more primevals from Diablo. I think that'd be a really nice addition to Heroes of the Storm.
What's cooking?
Finally, the fifth hero I want to see is a bit of a crazy one, and this is not one that I've seen anyone else ask for or recommend, but this is one that I want to see, and most of you probably never even heard of this guy, but he's called Cuckoo. And Cuckoo is the first boss from the Storm Stout Brewery dungeon from Mists of Pandaria, and he's a Hosen, which means he's a big, fairly intelligent, semi-intelligent, and an ape. Even for a Hosen, Cuckoo has a reputation for being uncouth and raucous. This monstrous creature and his cronies recently broke into the Storm Stout Brewery and cracked open its precious beer casks to throw the greatest party of all time, Ookapalooza. He'd just be a really fun hero to add to the game, and that's kind of this meme hero in a way. Just big, he's crazy, he does nuts things. So for example, you could have like the kind of classic Mario Kart type thing. He could throw a banana, and when a hero runs over the banana, they slip and fall on the ground and get stunned for a little bit. You could throw tantrums and start pounding the ground, spreading out AoE damage. Another he could jump on someone's head, start riding them around, kind of like Sylvanas' mind control. Crosswit, let's say Diablo Shadow Charge. You can ride them around and just drive them into a wall, and then they get stunned when they hit the wall, take a big chunk of damage. Just this idea of this crazy monkey who's just going absolutely nuts. He swears with the unique Hosen swearing. He's got a real potty mouth, and he has all these crazy abilities, super chaotic, super nuts. I just love to see that, because it's totally out there. They could do some really fun things with him, and yeah, I want to see a Hosen, because Hosen are hilarious. It's cool to have, crazy, serious heroes in the game, but it's also really fun to have these fun, just these fun nuts ones that just do mad things, and I think Cuckoo would fit into there really well, and definitely be a big surprise that a lot of people wouldn't see coming.
Oh, wickets be trippin'!
There you guys go. Those are the 5 heroes that I personally would quite like to see at this year's BlizzCon, and like I said, I'm expecting 2 heroes. And I'm definitely expecting, I don't know if Blizzard will do this because they did it with Artanis and I don't think it worked out all that great, but I really think that Blizzard should be tying in some of their games more, so I really expect to see at least one Warcraft hero that ties into the end of this expansion or the announcement for the new one. It just makes sense to me, so they should do it. But yeah, I think 2 heroes, I'm hoping that it will be some of those 5. I probably put my bets on Valen, but I don't know, they've never done a support hero. They're not maybe as exciting, so who knows, right? Who knows? Guys, let me know what you think in the comments. Which heroes do you want to see at this year's BlizzCon? How many do you think they announce? What do you want to see and what do you think they'll actually announce? What other features as well do you expect they might be releasing? Let me know down below. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and I'll see you all next time for more Heroes of the Storm. Bye bye.